Hello and welcome to News on the Hour. I'm Rukma, and let's begin by taking a look at the top stories we're tracking at this hour. Over the next 1 hour, we'll be taking you through all the headlines, stories making headlines across India and the world as India wins a bronze medal in the Olympics in hockey for the first time after 41 years. We'll be taking you through all that as well as other highlights of the Summer Games as they are underway in the Japanese capital. Meanwhile, updates from COVID and business and national and international news as well. But first, the headlines. An Olympic hockey medal after 41 years. Men in blue create history. In Tokyo, defeat Germany 5-4 in hard-fought match to clinch the bronze medal. President, Prime Minister lead the way in congratulating the team as the nation showers applause on its heroes. Wrestler Ravi Dahiya looks to bring home the gold as he plays the 57 kg freestyle finals today. Deepak Punia will also play his bronze medal match. And PM Modi to interact with beneficiaries of Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana in Uttar Pradesh. State will celebrate 5th of August as PM GKY Day. Almost 15 crore people across the state have benefited from this scheme. Lok Sabha scheduled to discuss situation arising out of COVID-19 pandemic in the country and various aspects related to it. Multiple legislations listed for consideration in the Rajya Sabha today. And it's 2 years of abrogation of Article 370. It was on this day in 2019 that the centre had brought resolution to repeal Article 370 of the Constitution to facilitate application of Constitution of India to J&K at par with other states and union territories. And now for our top story, India have won the bronze in the men's hockey match after beating Germany 5-4. India saw Germany take an early lead with Timur Oruz scoring within 2 minutes of the match. Germany troubled the Indian defence in the first quarter but could not find a way to extend the lead. In the second quarter, India saw Simranjeet Singh scoring from a well-executed tomahawk shot, but defensive errors led to Germany scoring 2 more goals within 2 minutes. Just when it looked that India might be in trouble, 2 penalty corners for India yielded results as Hardik Singh scored on the rebound from the first one, while Harmanpreet Singh scored another with a superb drag flick onto the back of the nets. Rupinder Pal Singh and Simranjeet Singh scored 2 more goals in the third quarter. Lucas Winfeder pulled one back in the final quarter, but it was not enough for Germany to push it to the shootouts. And joining us now as our guest to delineate what all this means as a historic moment as India's victory in the games is Zafar Iqbal, former Indian hockey player. A very warm welcome to you, sir. Many thanks for joining us. A historic moment for Indian hockey.
There's no doubt about it. It's a new era, I would say, it has begun, and it's a good thing we have won the bronze medal. But for me, it is more than the gold medal. So the entire country is very delighted, and actually the players have really they played extremely well. Though in the first quarter they could not do so much because of the many wrong passes, but the later quarters in the second and third and fourth, the Indian team played brilliantly. There's no doubt about it. And defeating Germany or Germans for the bronze medal match, it was a very hard task for us in the sense that we were losing by 2 goals in the initial stages, and later on we equalized, and then we took a 2-goal advantage in the second half. So it shows that yes, we were physically fit enough, and the boys who really who were playing the first time in the Olympic Games, they have shown the mental, in the sense that the new players, Simranjeet Singh, the Hardik, and Manpreet Singh, though he is a coach or captain of the team. These two players have shown a great sense of hockey in this particular game, and also they have scored. So naturally it's a new era for us, and I'm sure the people will think that they will come back to hockey, because they always feel that hockey should win at the international level, and this is the right time that the Indian hockey has won the medal for us, and this medal will give us a long way to go, because now we are confident enough that yes, we can do what we had done earlier, when we won the 8 gold medal and 2 bronze and 1 silver. So that's a history of our Indian hockey. I'm sure the team will think yes, they are capable of doing it in the future also, because only 3 years to go for the next Olympic Games and 8 years for the 2028 Olympic Games. So we have to prepare for that period from now only, though we are getting everything, every support from the government, and also the Hockey India is doing a lot of work while selecting the players. The coach has, I would say, done a big job, in the sense that he has chosen a team, a very young team, who could play for the entire time. It has become a very fast game when the structure has since been changed into from 35 minutes and then half time and 35 minutes. Now it's 15 minutes and 2 minutes sets, and then 15 and 15 and 15 is like a basketball game. It has become too fast, so you have to have players of young caliber, and also who can last up to the final finish. But in the last seconds, we were so excited when we were winning the game by 2 goals, but later on they reduced the margin, and in the dying second, 6 seconds, they got a penalty strokes. I think full marks to Srijesh and all the defenders. I'm sure that they have done a great job for the country. We must congratulate them. The entire country would be happy at least with the game of hockey, and I'm sure this will go a long way. This is a new era for Indian hockey.
A new era for Indian hockey, as you say, Mr. Iqbal. You've been a part of the Indian hockey team, a legend you are in your own right. When it comes to winning against a power pack side like Germany, we lost against Belgium, against somebody like Germany, who are known to come back at the last minute, who are known for their physical prowess. In many ways, when we measure the two teams, while we could be more skilled in in dribbling and more in the artistic part of the match, what would you say were the turning points in this particular hockey match for India?
The fact is that you were talking about the Belgium. The Belgium has a winning combination at this point of time, because they are not losing to anyone. So they are in a very sound position for the last couple of years. They are playing very well hockey at the world level also, and I'm sure that the Indian hockey which we have now, it will become a winning combination in future. That should be our motto, because most of them are very young, except few, Srijesh or one more guy, Rupinder Pal Singh. These two players are, they have played a lot of hockey for the country. We should be appreciated. We should thank them. They have played so many years for the country. I'm sure the new generation, this new team and the new generation, they will become a winning combination for our country in the coming Olympic Games 2024, and also they can participate in 2028 Olympic Games. This is my personal advice, in the sense that we must keep all these players together intact, and we should give them more exposure to the international level, so that they should have a more encouragement and all experience also. And the main issue which I would like to mention to the government also, in the sense that though we have a very young sports minister, so he will maybe in a position to help the Hockey India to have our pro hockey league started. So it has been broken down for the last 2-3 years, and that should be the base of our future hockey. We have to have such league in our country. In spite of having World Hockey League, it has nothing to do with us much, but we have to have a very strong base in our own country, while inviting the foreign players in our own country, so that the local players should play with them, should have experience with them, and they will become the master. They will also think, yes, we are capable, and the blockage in the mind in our boys should go off, in the sense that yes, they are also equally good and maybe much more better than these players, and we can win again in the future.
Right, Mr. Iqbal, as I was talking about, how you have been a legend in your own right, you also mentioned the Union Sports Minister, Anurag Thakur. Well, he's been supporting and rooting for the Indian hockey team from the word go, and we received his tweet a short while back. Let's listen in now to what he has to say. Do stay with us. We'll be back with you in a short while, Mr. Iqbal. Let's listen in to what the Union Sports Minister had to say in his expression of congratulations to the Indian hockey team.
40 वर्ष का इंतजार कोई छोटा नहीं होता। एक लंबे इंतजार के बाद हॉकी टीम ने जहां एक और क्वालिफाई किए सेमीफाइनल्स में, वहीं पर ब्रॉन्ज मेडल जीतकर, कांस्य पदक जीतकर 135 करोड़ भारतीयों को चेहरे पर मुस्कुराहट लाई है, खुशी है और तिरंगे का मान सम्मान बढ़ाया है। अपने हर मैच से ये टीम कुछ सीखी भी है, सुधार भी किया है, और जो मजबूत इरादे दिखाए हैं उसका कहीं ना कहीं फायदा इस मैच में देखने को मिला। इसी कारण आज हम एक कांस्य पदक और जीत पाए हैं। मैं तो कहूंगा युवा मेंस हॉकी टीम ने, ये जो युवा इसलिए कह रहा हूं क्योंकि ज्यादातर खिलाड़ी युवा हैं, तो मेंस हॉकी टीम ने जो पदक जीता है ये अपनी दृढ़ निष्ठा के कारण, अच्छे खेल के कारण न केवल पदक बल्कि 135 करोड़ भारतीयों का दिल भी जीता है।
Union Sports Minister Anurag Thakur there expressing what he believes that the Indian hockey team has done today by winning bronze, defeating Germany 5-4. We go back once again to our expert analyst, Zafar Iqbal, a former hockey player and legend in his own right. Mr. Iqbal, when we talk about what is needed at such a time, you have been and you have experienced these kind of moments yourself in your long career, because it's very crucial just 24 hours after playing a losing match to go back on that turf again and play for another medal. What does it mean, and were the Indians able to come on top of all those challenges today? What does a player need at that time? Would you say it's team spirit more? Would you say it's the months of practice, or is it mental strength?
They need only the support from every corner, I would say. There's no doubt about it. We should not keep quiet. We should also spread the message to the entire country. Though the entire country knows, but we have to remind from time to time, yes, hockey is still alive in our country. I know I have heard a lot about Anurag Thakur Sahib because he is the union minister, but he is well connected with the sporting activities. I know that this is the point. He understands what is the value of winning a medal at the Olympic Games. But at the same time, I would also like to mention here that prior to the departure of our contingent to the Olympic game. This is the first time I've heard that the Prime Minister has met them, individually also. That he also spoke to the family members. That may be the spirit which might have initiated in their mind, the Prime Minister of a country who's meeting before the departure of the contingent is a big achievement or big thing for the sports person, because they needed such inspiration from the Honorable Prime Minister, and he did it. So it is not that I'm just praising, but it might have helped players to think that they are capable of doing better this time, and they are doing it in every sports. I would say the players have done their best, whatever they could do it, and this will go a long way. And while coming back, I'm sure the Honorable Prime Minister will meet them again. The entire contingent he should meet, because not only the medalists, because everybody has done their job at that level. I think that would be very nice that to have a couple of these sporting icons of our country, and that will also go a long way, because inspiration is really needed. You might have seen before every bout or every game, the players are inspired to play the better game what they are going to take on the field. So that is the main issue. The players are not much bothered about money and this thing, but inspiration is the most important part of their life. We don't need anything much but inspiration from the people of our country, from the government of the Hockey India. They need inspiration. Money doesn't make much difference, but if they get it, is a good sign of gesture on the part of the people or on the part of the government.
So many thanks, Mr. Iqbal, for joining us on the show and for all your inputs. So the road ahead, as you said, clearly looks much brighter now that after nearly 41 years, with the strong support of the Indian government, with the strong support of Prime Minister Modi, Hockey India, and all those initiatives of the Union government, the Indian hockey team triumphs over Germany 5-4, bringing back a bronze after 41 years of not having won a single medal in the Olympic Games. Joining us now is our correspondent Abhishek Singh. Abhishek Mahajan. Abhishek, a very good morning to you. A short while back, we were just discussing about how tremendous a victory it is, how it is a coming together of many elements like team spirit, experience, youth, enthusiasm. Take us through what it means for our journey of hockey.
Right, Rukma. Short while back, Mr. Zafar Iqbal, the legend, he was with us, and I'm sure he would agree to this, that everyone was asking the question from him or the former hockey players that can India bring the past, can this current Indian team bring the past glory back? And this is just the start. He was, when we spoke to Zafar Iqbal, he was also not sure whether this team can finish on the podium, and now more than the joy, Rukma, this is the moment of emotions. A lot of people are attached to the hockey. It's a victory for Zafar Iqbal, it's a victory for V. Bhaskar, it's a victory for Dhanraj Pillai, it's a victory for Senior Balbir Singh, it's a victory for the entire hockey fraternity, it's a victory for us. And like you mentioned about the government deserves a lot of credit at the way they have supported the Indian hockey team, the way they have started supporting the Indian contingent to be enlarged. And also the top scheme, we cannot forget that Target Olympic Podium scheme. Sports Authority of India deserves the credit. Hockey India also deserves the credit. And all those senior journalists, despite the downfall, they have covered the positive stories of hockey. And not to forget, Rukma, it's a medal. It's a medal after 41 long years. We have broken the jinx of winning the Olympic hockey medal, and Zafar Iqbal, he was part of that Indian hockey team that won the Olympic medal last in 1980 Moscow Olympics. He was part of that team, and V. Bhaskaran was the captain of that team. And if you remember, we were not winning, we could not qualify in the 2008 Beijing Olympics. That was, I think, the darkest moment in our hockey history. 2012 we did qualify, but we finished at the last. In 2016 in Rio Olympics we played in the quarterfinals and we lost to the Belgium, and when we played the playoffs we finished in the 8th position. So it's a big moment, it's a moment to rejoice. And the frame, like we were talking about earlier also, the frame, the picture of 5-4, India beating Germany in the playoff match, in the bronze medal match, this should be framed. And everyone is happy. We have seen the pictures, everyone is tweeting about it, wishes are galore, and everyone, I mean, it wasn't easy. If you see, we had started on a very positive note. We had defeated New Zealand, and then we got a drubbing from Australia 1-7. To make a comeback from there, Zafar Iqbal was also saying that it's a game of mental nerves, it's a game of nerves to come back from there. And in hockey, games happen in there's not much gap in the games. So we had to defeat Argentina, the defending Olympic champions, and then we defeated Spain. And the way we defeated Japan, remember, beating Japan wasn't easy. They are the host and also they are the Asian Games champion. 5-3 we defeated them. We came back in the quarterfinals, defeated Great Britain, although we lost to Belgium, but we gave a very good fight. And although a referee's decision will be very, very controversial, but again, and coming back again, thinking positively, yes, nobody wants to play the bronze medal match. They came back in 24 hours time, they came back and defeated the mighty Germans. Beating Germany wasn't easy. They had won the gold in 2008, they have won gold in 2012, 2016 they won the bronze medal, and defeating Germany was not a mean feat, and they have done it. And now this moment will be etched in the history, Rukma, and this is just the start. Paris Olympics is just 3 years away, and we will be the dominant force in Paris, and other teams will look us in a different way now. We can rule, we can bring the past glory back. This Indian hockey team has the capability to bring the past glory back. And when we spoke to Indian hockey team coach Graham Reid, he also said that this team has the capability to finish on the podium. Manpreet Singh, the Indian hockey team captain, also said that this team has the capability to finish on the podium. And remember, Rukma, we changed the entire squad. 8 debutants in the squad, be it Dilpreet, be it Gurjant, be it Harmanpreet. First Olympics, and the way they have performed, it's exceptionally well. You got to give credit to the selectors also. SV Sunil is not part of the team. Ramandeep Singh, he had to be dropped just because debutants had to be fit in. And the way they have performed, and they have been the goal scorers also. Credit to everyone, every Indian player, and everyone is in tears, Rukma. If you see Manpreet Singh, if you see PR Srijesh, and PR Srijesh, the way he has saved the last goal, I think the best moment in his career also, big career that he has of 14-15 years. This is the moment to rejoice, this is the moment to enjoy, and more than joy, I said, this is a very, very emotional moment. I think everyone was in tears, be it commentators who were commentating the India hockey match, the journalists who have followed hockey very intensely, very closely, they have followed. We spoke to them and they are also in tears. Every nation, every person who supports hockey, every person who watches hockey, and this is just the start. You'll see in future many women, many players, many youngsters will pick up their hockey sticks, and now the new generation of hockey will start.
Right, Abhishek. Many thanks for joining us there. Meanwhile, stay with us. We are also joined by our correspondent Ashok Martolia. Ashok, we've been saying this phrase again and again, a very historic moment, but we'd like you to tell us about what's the reaction on the ground there. What are people saying? How are they responding? How much does this victory matter to the man out on the street? Ashok, if you can hear me.
Exactly, Rukma. See, I'm right. I'm standing Yes, Rukma, I can hear you. I am standing right in front of the statue of Major Dhyan Chand. I think, Rukma, this is a perfect tribute to Major Dhyan Chand, our hockey legend, a magician. You know, the way we defeated Germany in Olympic, this is a huge, huge victory. I think this is a moment we will always cherish to our entire life. What a great victory, you know, after 40 years we managed to finish, make podium finish, and this is indeed, we will...
Right, please continue.
Hello?
Right, please continue, Ashok. We can hear you. Ashok there out in the field to get some inputs from the common man about how we feel, about how Indians feel about the Indian hockey team's victory today, winning the bronze, defeating Germany, the defending champions as far as bronze is concerned. 5-4, that's the final score on the board. Our correspondent Ashok Martolia, we're trying to connect with him. And so a very important, so a historic moment for India. Abhishek, we come back to you once again. We're trying to connect with Ashok, but before that, your final comments on who should we say is the hero of today's match? Is it Simranjeet who made that comeback at the right moment, at the right time, or is it Srijesh who maintained his cool till the last second?
Rukma, it's the team that has performed. Maybe Harmanpreet, like you mentioned, he has scored. Dilpreet has also scored in the tournament. Hardik, we have seen they have scored. Rupinder Pal Singh also got the penalty stroke at the last moment, and also he scored through the drag flick also. But again, Rukma, hockey is a team game. Everyone deserves a credit. Manpreet Singh, the team was led by him, and it's very, very important, Rukma, to support your team, and the way he believed in his team, it's very, very important. Graham Reid, you got to credit him. He was part of the Australian team, Australian winning team that won in Olympics. He was part of the Champions Trophy also, and he has coached the Netherlands also. We cannot forget the experience that he has brought in. Those were the days when we used to concede the goals in the final moments, in the dying moments, but this team has changed now. We are focusing on more of attacking. We are scoring goals and the last moment. This is the difference that he has brought in the team. Attacking hockey that we have started playing playing from 2019, since the time he has come in. And not to forget, Rukma, the mindset is also very, very important in hockey. 2018, and credit to Hockey India also, credit to government also.
Right,
Exposure
a lot of credit
to the Indian hockey
a lot
team.
of credit to the Indian government, a lot of credit to Hockey India, and kudos to the entire Indian team. The whole of India was rooting for the Indian team today, although it was a fight for the bronze. India won 5-4. Abhishek, our correspondent, with us, and joining us once again is Ashok. Ashok, if you can hear me now, you were talking about how historic this moment is. After 41 years, the Indian hockey team brings back a bronze in the Olympics.
Yes, Rukma, this is indeed a historic moment. You know, I am standing right in front of this huge statue of Major Dhyan Chand. You know, this is a perfect, I think, tribute to our legend magician Dhyan Chand. Defeating Germany in Olympic is something, it is unimaginable. So we have made it. I think this is a moment that we will always cherish to our entire life.
Right, a moment to cherish for our life, for our entire life, and whether it's expert commentators, former legends that we've been talking to, our own commentators, our own reporters on the ground, they're all speaking about how Team India worked today, how the support of the government, how the support of Prime Minister Modi himself, how the support of Hockey India has finally borne fruit. Are we looking at a new team that will work now for the days to come? Is this the team of the future?
Definitely, Rukma, you know, see how the Sports Authority of India and how Hockey India is doing. You know, they have set the AstroTurf across the nation, and they are scouting the talents from the very grassroots level and giving them training and giving them scholarship. I think these made the huge difference. You know, winning medal in Olympic in hockey and other discipline is very different, you know, because hockey, we have emotions, you know, hockey. We are 8-time gold medalists. We won 6 consecutive gold medals in Olympic. So this is some different kind of emotion when we talk about hockey. So I think today's victory is that it is a watershed moment for Indian hockey. I think it will bring again, but now, you know, we need to maintain that, because you know, we have raised our bar, and we are like now the team like Argentina, Germany or Netherlands or Australia. So we have, you know, achieved that kind of height. I think this is definitely a historic moment for Indian men's team. Not only men's team, but the way Indian women team performing, you know, this is unimaginable. We never thought about that, Rukma.
Right, Ashok. So when we talk about the turning point in today's match, which would you say it was?
I think the way you know, Simranjeet, he did a goal. I think that was a turning point. And you know, Rukma conceding one goal, then, you know, bounce back. It is something never happened before in Indian history. This is the first time we are witnessing them. India conceded the goal and they bounced back. So this hockey team is entirely different kind of hockey team we are witnessing. And thanks to, I think, the coaches, the way he gathered the whole Indian team, and he gave the you know, training to the Indian. You know, the Indian team is mixed. They are young players and the experienced player, and this PR Srijes goalkeeper. I think he is fabulous. He is fantastic. The way he was giving instruction to the players and defenders, and he saved so many goals. I think this is a perfect team. We are hopeful that in the next time we will be definitely able to win gold medal in the Olympics.
Right, very high hopes for this for our team in hockey for the future as well. Even as this time they create history. The road begins for a bright future once again. The glory days of Indian hockey are back. That's what our experts say. That's what our reporters on the ground are saying. Many thanks to you, Ashok Martolia, for joining us. And it's time now to move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will interact with beneficiaries of the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana in Uttar Pradesh via video conferencing today. Uttar Pradesh will celebrate the 5th of August, that is today, as Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana Day. A massive awareness program will be launched throughout the state to ensure that no beneficiary is left out from availing the benefits of the scheme. Nearly 15 crore beneficiaries of the state have been getting ration free of cost through Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana. Nearly 80,000 fair price shops in the state have been distributing food grains to beneficiaries of the scheme. Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh Yogi Adityanath will also be present on the occasion. And India continues to see a decline in COVID-19 cases. As we registered 48 crore 93 lakh vaccine doses have administered under the nationwide vaccination drive. Nearly, that's over 3 crore 9 lakh recoveries have been recorded so far across India, of which over 41,726 patients recovered in the past 24 hours. With this, the recovery rate has increased to 97.37%. 42,982 daily new cases were reported in the past 24 hours, while our active caseload has declined to 4,11,076. Active cases constitute 1.29% of total cases. The weekly positivity rate continues to remain below 5% and currently stands at 2.37%. Daily positivity rate currently stands at 2.58%, which is less than 3% in the last 10 days. Testing capacity has been substantially ramped up with 47 crore 48 lakh tests conducted so far. And the central government has deployed a multidisciplinary team to Manipur in view of the rising number of COVID-19 cases being reported in the state. The team will aid the state's ongoing efforts in COVID-19 management by assessing the situation and suggesting remedial actions. Several parts of Manipur have seen an unprecedented rise in COVID cases over the past few weeks. The cases, though low in numbers, still reflect an unprecedented growth rate in terms of infection that have set alarm bells ringing. Manipur Chief Minister Biren Singh met the Prime Minister as well. And the centre has also asked states and union territories to consider imposing local level restrictions to curb mass gatherings during festivities, starting with Muharram on the 19th of August to Durga Puja on October 15th. The Union Health Ministry has said states should actively consider local restrictions, curbing mass gatherings. In the letter, it has also written that the Indian Council of Medical Research and National Centre for Disease Control have expressed concern regarding mass gathering events during festivals turning into super spreader occasions. It reiterated that any laxity in ensuring strict adherence to the five-fold strategy of test, track, treat, vaccinate and ensuring COVID-appropriate behavior may result in losing the impetus that we have gained so far in managing the pandemic. In the Rajya Sabha, Minister of Tribal Affairs Arjun Munda will move the Constitution Scheduled Tribes Order Amendment Bill 2021 to modify the list of scheduled tribes in relation to the state of Arunachal Pradesh for consideration and passing. Besides, Environment Minister Bhupinder Yadav will move the Commission for Air Quality Management in National Capital Region and Adjoining Areas Bill 2021 for consideration and passing. The bill aims for better coordination, research, identification and resolution of problems surrounding the Air Quality Index. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh will move the Essential Defence Services Bill 2021 for consideration and passing. The bill to provide for the maintenance of essential defence services so as to secure the security of the nation and the life and property of the public at large. Minister of State for Finance Pankaj Chaudhary will move the Appropriation Number 4 Bill 2021 and the Appropriation Bill 2021 Number 3 for consideration and return. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will move the General Insurance Business Nationalisation Amendment Bill 2021 for consideration and passing. She will also move the Tribunals Reforms Bill 2021 for consideration and passing. In the Lok Sabha, Minister of Education Dharmendra Pradhan will introduce the Central Universities Amendment Bill 2021. Besides, discussion under Rule 193 will also be taken up over the situation rising out of COVID-19 in the country and various aspects related to it. India's first indigenously designed and built aircraft carrier began sea trials off the coast of Kochi yesterday. The landmark achievement puts India in an exclusive list of a handful of nations that have the capability to manufacture these most powerful of naval vessels. Indigenous aircraft carrier Vikrant has been designed by the Indian Navy's Directorate of Naval Design and built at the Cochin Shipyards Limited. IAC is a leading example of the nation's quest for Atmanirbhar Bharat and Make in India initiative, with more than 76% indigenous content. To be commissioned next year, this will become India's second aircraft carrier in service. At the moment, India only has INS Vikramaditya. Indian Navy's shipbuilding program is rightly poised to provide requisite economic stimulus, with 44 ships and submarines on order being built indigenously. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has termed IAC Vikrant as a wonderful example of Make in India. Congratulations to the Indian Navy and Cochin Shipyard Limited on this historic milestone, he said. Creating a record in high-altitude road construction, Border Roads Organization has constructed and blacktopped the highest motorable road in the world at 19,300 feet in the Umlingla Pass in eastern Ladakh. Constructing a 52-kilometer-long tarmac road through Umlingla Pass, the road now connects important towns in Chumar sector of eastern Ladakh, and will prove to be a boon to the local population as it offers an alternate direct route connecting Chisumle and Demchok from Leh. It will enhance the socio-economic condition and promote tourism in Ladakh. Infrastructure development in such harsh and tough terrain is extremely challenging. During the winter, the temperature dips to -40 degrees and the oxygen levels at this altitude are almost 50% less than at other places. The BRO has achieved the feat due to the grit and resilience of its personnel, who work in treacherous terrain and extreme weather conditions. And today is the second anniversary of the abrogation of Article 370 in Jammu and Kashmir. After the constitutional changes and reorganization of the erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir, the union territories of Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh have been fully integrated into the mainstream of the nation. As a result, all the rights enshrined in the Constitution of India and benefits of all the central laws that were being enjoyed by other citizens of the country are now available to the people of J&K and Ladakh. The change has brought about socio-economic development in both the new union territories, that is the Union Territory of Jammu Kashmir and the Union Territory of Ladakh. Empowerment of people, removal of unjust laws, bringing in equity and fairness to those discriminated since ages who are now getting their due, along with comprehensive development, are few of the important changes that are ushering in both the new union territories towards the path of peace and progress. With the conduct of elections of Panchayati Raj institutions such as Panchs and Sarpanchs, block development councils and district development councils, the three-tier system of grassroots level democracy has now been established in Jammu and Kashmir. And Vikas Sarthi now joins us with more on this story. Vikas, a very good morning to you. A historic day related to a very historic event, a much needed transformation, a much needed reform. What has it meant for this Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh?
Good morning, Rukma. It's a very significant day for not only for Jammu and Kashmir, but especially for people of Ladakh, because in this region, people have been demanding since 1949 that Ladakh should be made a separate union territory. There was a kind of resentment in the local population that they felt alienated from Srinagar, and once this historic decision was taken on 5th August 2019, we have seen a lot of change in the way Ladakh administration functioned earlier, and now it has been planning and the development projects are being implemented. In fact, the most significant part is that yesterday we were talking to Lieutenant Governor of Ladakh, and he said that earlier Ladakh used to be a 6 months economy because in extreme winter this area, Leh and Kargil, remained closed, and it was called a 6 months economy. Now the administration is focusing that how we can operate even in extreme weather, even in extreme winter conditions, and make the economy of Ladakh a 12-month economy. Apart from it, the local administration is also focusing on education sector as well. Earlier, schools used to remain closed for 6 months, and what we learned yesterday from LG that they are planning to make these classrooms available through the year. So earlier, the education sector was remain very backward in this area, but now the local administration is working very hard on whether it is on employment, education, or promoting other industries other than tourism, because what we have seen in the past that once Ladakh goes into the extreme weather conditions, the tourism industry remains dormant throughout that period of time. So they are also focusing on other industries apart from tourism. Recently, Prime Minister also said that Ladakh can be developed into into an area where solar energy can be produced and distributed in the neighboring states or neighboring cities. So there is a huge scope of renewable energy in this particular region. And apart from that, government is also focusing on promoting organic farming. There are some crops which are exclusively grown in this area, and Ladakh can become a significant area in promoting organic farming. So we are witnessing a huge change the way earlier Ladakh was treated, and now the way the schemes, the development projects are being implemented or are being planned, very much change for the local people.
Right, Vikas, and when we talk about what it means for the people of Jammu and Kashmir, the abrogation of Article 370, the application of laws that are available to every citizen in the rest of the country, how has it brought Jammu and Kashmir into the mainstream?
Exactly, Rukma. What we have seen that earlier there was no reservation for SC/ST communities, though there were a huge population of a particular community in Jammu region, but they were not given any right in employment, any right in legislation. So they have been given equal rights like the other citizens of the rest of the India. What they have seen a kind of discrimination for at least 70 years, and the central laws, the central schemes for upliftment of especially SC/ST communities, for the first time after the 5th August 2019, people of Jammu, especially those backward communities, are enjoying the same rights which are given in the rest of the India. And grassroots democracy, when we talk about it, in Ladakh is not that big area in terms of population. Still 1,700 local representatives are in this whole region, Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh, and they are feeling that the local people are being given more opportunity in participating in the grassroots democracy. So certainly there has been a big shift in Jammu and Kashmir as well.
Right, and well, the fact that the many changes that have been brought in by the abrogation, the bringing into the mainstream, allowing the purchase of property, the starting of businesses, an entirely new chapter in the history of Jammu and Kashmir, in its economic development as well.
Right, Rukma. Nobody can imagine a few years back that Ladakh can think about some other industries other than the well-established tourism industry. But now the local administration is focusing on those areas which have not been exploited so far, like what we are talking about, the organic farming, we are talking about the renewable energy, hydro projects. In fact, Ladakh will be the first place where mobile hydrogen mobility will be introduced. So apart from it, this is also an eco-sensitive zone. Now the focus is on making Ladakh a carbon neutral zone, so that the natural habitat and the water bodies are not affected by the huge influx of tourists as well. There are several changes, like earlier whatever numbers of tourists come to Ladakh, they used to visit certain fixed tourist spots like Leh, Kargil or the Pangong Lake. Now government is focusing on promoting homestay industry, so that people can visit those rural areas which have remained untouched so far, and the local population will get some kind of benefit, monetary benefit from those homestays. And the Polytechnic here in Leh, especially the Polytechnic has especially conducted a training program in homestay industry. At least 1,000 homestay will be prepared in next 1 year or in next 1.5 years. That is the plan of the government to promote the homestays, and proper training are being given about operating these homestays and making some monetary benefit for local population.
Right, so a lot of scope there for advancement economically, and the government taking a number of initiatives in that regard. Truly a very historic day for the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir and the Union Territory of Ladakh. Many thanks, Vikas Sarthi, for joining us there. And the Minister of External Affairs, Dr. S. Jaishankar, will be on a 2-day visit to Iran from today. He will attend the swearing-in ceremony of the President-elect Ayatollah Saeed Ibrahim Raisi today. During his visit, the External Affairs Minister will call on the President, and on the sidelines will also meet other leaders in Iran. In Madhya Pradesh, the relief and rescue operations in the flood-affected areas are being undertaken in full swing. Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan is constantly monitoring the flood situation caused by the heavy rains in northern Madhya Pradesh. The Chief Minister also took stock of the situation in flood-affected villages through aerial tour in Gwalior and Chambal divisions. Chief Minister held an emergency meeting with officials of PS Home CMO. He also said that rescue operations are being jointly carried out with the help of the district administration, police, army, air force, border security force, NDRF, SDRF and home guards. Nearly 1,200 villages of Gwalior and Chambal divisions have been affected by floods and waterlogging. Nearly 6,000 people have been rescued so far. Adequate arrangements for food, water and accommodation are being made for those who have been rehabilitated in the relief camps. Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan has given instructions regarding arrangements for food for the flood victims. He has asked the administration to ensure the safety of all in the flood-affected areas and to provide food and pure water to those affected. Also to ensure there is no outbreak of infectious diseases in the affected areas, to provide shelter to those whose homes have been destroyed in floods and help with the repair of homes. To re-establish the power supply, the repairing of broken bridges to be done and creating alternative routes. The state administration has been instructed to restore communication facilities as well and conduct surveys on the damage to crops and loss of animals with immediate effect. He has asked the administration to send a proposal to the central government for financial assistance too. The Central Bureau of Investigation has registered a case related to the alleged murder of Uttam Anand, Additional District Judge, Dhanbad, on the request of the Jharkhand government and further notification from the Government of India. The case was earlier registered by State Police on a complaint from the wife of the deceased at Dhanbad Police Station against an unknown auto driver. 2 persons have been arrested by local police. The CBI has taken over the investigation of the said case and constituted a special investigation team. The team proceeded to Dhanbad yesterday. An interstate coordination meeting was held yesterday at Delhi Police Headquarters to strengthen cooperation and address issues in preparation for Independence Day 2021 celebrations in Delhi NCR. Commissioner of Police Delhi, Rakesh Asthana, chaired the meeting, attended by top brass from Haryana, Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Jharkhand, Bihar, Rajasthan, Chandigarh and Jammu and Kashmir, along with senior officers and district DCPs of Delhi Police. India and the World Bank have signed $250 million of a project to make existing dams safe and resilient. The project aims for long-term dam safety program and improving the safety and performance of existing dams across various states of India. Another major innovation envisaged under the project is the introduction of a risk-based approach to dam asset management that will help to effectively allocate financial resources towards priority dam safety needs. The project will be implemented in approximately 120 dams across the states of Chhattisgarh, Gujarat, Kerala, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Manipur, Meghalaya, Odisha, Rajasthan and Tamil Nadu, and at the national level through the Central Water Commission. The World Bank's support to dam safety in India includes the recently closed DRIP 1 that improved the safety and sustainable performance of 223 dams in 6 states of India and 1 central agency. Other important measures that DRIP 2 will support include flood forecasting systems and integrated reservoir operations, the preparation and implementation of emergency action plans, and enhance resilience against possible negative impact. And let's now take a look at COVID-19 numbers from across the world, which continues to battle the virus. More than 20 crore people have been infected so far, while recoveries have crossed 18 crores. The deadly virus has claimed the lives of over 42,68,000 people globally. The United States is once again witnessing a spike in new daily COVID cases with over 3 crore 61 lakh cases. The US remains the worst affected by the pandemic. Deaths due to COVID in the US have crossed 6,31,000. Fully vaccinated passengers from India will no longer be subjected to compulsory 10-day hotel quarantine as the UK moved the country from its red to amber list. UK Transport Secretary tweeted under Britain's traffic light system for international travel, returning from amber list countries means a 10-day quarantining at home. The change, announced by the Department for Transport, comes into effect from the 8th of August. The decision has come as a relief for the Indian diaspora in the UK, who had been demanding the easing of travel norms between India and Britain. Under the legal rules for countries on the amber list, passengers must take a COVID test 3 days before departure and book in advance for 2 COVID tests to be taken upon arrival in England, as well as complete a passenger locator form on arrival. In another move, the UK government has moved 7 countries to the green list from amber. They are Germany, Austria, Slovenia, Slovakia, Latvia, Romania and Norway, as well as France. Meanwhile, Britain will offer all 16 and 17-year-olds their first dose of Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine and extending eligibility of the shots to children beyond the clinically vulnerable. Britain maintained previous advice that children aged 12 to 15 underlying health conditions should also get the vaccines. The World Health Organization is calling for a halt on COVID-19 vaccine boosters until at least the end of September. WHO chief said on Wednesday that the move was to enable that at least 10% of the population of every country is vaccinated. The call for a moratorium is the strongest statement yet from the UN agency, at a time when countries deliberate on the need for boosters to combat the fast-spreading Delta variant of coronavirus. The WHO chief said that even while hundreds of millions are still waiting for their first dose, some rich countries are moving towards booster shots. So far, more than 4 billion vaccine doses have been administered globally. More than 80% have gone high and upper middle income countries, even though they account for less than half of the world's population. Almost 9,000 Canadian border staff will begin work to rule strike action starting on Friday, days before Canada begins allowing fully vaccinated US visitors into the country for the first time in 16 months. Talks between 2 unions representing Canadian border agents and staff and the federal government reached an impasse in December 2020, and the unions served the federal government on July 27th with a strike notice. Both sides came back to the table after the strike notice, but the union said on Wednesday they had been unable to reach an agreement and their members would begin working to rule as of Friday. Businesses across Canada fear a negative impact, especially given the timing, just when they were expecting an influx. The first influx of tourists since the pandemic began. Canada will allow fully vaccinated US visitors in the country starting Monday. In Beirut, tear gas was used to disperse protesters who congregated. Let's go across live to the Rajya Sabha and listen to the proceedings there.
Memorandum of Business. Felicitations by the Chair. Honorable members, on behalf of the whole House and on my own behalf, nothing is going on record. I congratulate Laulina Borgohain and the Indians men hockey team for winning bronze medal in the welterweight category of women's boxing and men's hockey events respectively in Olympic Games 2020 being held in Tokyo, Japan. With her spectacular performance, Mrs. Laulina Borgohain has become the third Indian boxer to win a medal at the Olympics. Clinching a medal at her first Olympics speaks volumes of her hard work and commitment put in by Ms. Borgohain for this achievement. With their outstanding performance, Indian men's hockey team, which defeated Germany, brought glory to the country by winning a medal after more than 4 decades. Their achievement is the culmination of the collective efforts of various stakeholders, including the government of Odisha headed by Sri Naveen Patnaik, Honorable Chief Minister, who came forward to sponsor the men's and women's hockey team for 5 years since 2018 for their continued support and unwavering faith showed in our players, topped up by the sheer hard work and determination of each player of the hockey team. I am sure achievements of our sports persons will inspire our budding sports persons to evaluate their achievements and improve upon their performances. I wish Ms. Laulina Borgohain and the Indian men's hockey team success in their future endeavors and hope that they will continue to bring many more laurels to the country. Papers to be laid on the table, Sri V. Muralidharan. Please, nothing is going on record. You are honorable member.
Well, we were just listening in as the Rajya Sabha congratulated the winners of medals of the Indian contingent, wrestlers Laulina Borgohain and 2 others before her, as well as the Indian hockey team as they won bronze today in their winning by 5-4 in their match against Germany. And well, it's a historic day for India as we win a medal in hockey in the Olympics after nearly 4 decades. That's all in this edition of the news, but we'll be keeping in track and updating you on all the latest news and inputs from across India and the world. So do stay tuned, keep watching DD India. Namaskar.